A CEO has been killed, and many people are celebrating his death. It's a significant event, and one which I'm particularly drawn to because of my political convictions. So in this video, I want to look at the art that was inspired by this event. I think the art, and especially the memes made about the assassination of the CEO, are as important, if not more important, than the act itself. Obviously, killing a CEO is not going to change much. The root of the problem is the system. It's capitalism, not an individual CEO. The individual CEOs answer to the demands and pressures of the market and of shareholders. It's these demands and pressures inherent to capitalism that we should eliminate. However, the symbolic act of killing a CEO and finding widespread solidarity around it, especially from the left and the right, is not to be neglected. Over and over again, the word class consciousness keeps popping up. This is why I'm more interested in the narrative, and especially the art that came after the CEO's death. Because we still look at the art of the past, I want to show you this woodcut by anarchist artist Charles Morin. It's a portrait of François Claudius Königstein, better known as Ravachol. Yes, both Königstein and Ravachol inspired the name of cities in the game Disco Elysium. Ravachol, also an anarchist, was arrested for bombing two judges who condemned protesters during the Clichy affair. I won't go into the whole Clichy affair, but in a nutshell, Ravachol detonated bombs, was then ratted out by a waiter in a restaurant, yeah, that happened, and was finally sent to the guillotine in 1892. This woodcut shows Ravachol standing tall and proud, and between himself and a hopeful sunrise stands a guillotine which boldly frames him. This image was later used as the cover of a pamphlet titled La Salute e Voi, an Italian work made by followers of Luigi Galliani. It promoted propaganda of the deed or direct action, which is the idea of instigating revolution, or at the very least sway public opinion, by placing bombs or assassinating notable figures of the state or capitalists. By showing that capital and the state aren't as all-powerful as they claimed to be, anarchists showed that that power, which is imposed and maintained by an elite, can be shaken up by one single act and can be toppled if coordinated by broader action. So that strategy didn't really work for anarchists as well as they wanted it to. If anything, the state became more oppressive and had the legitimacy to repress because people were so scared of the violent anarchist who doesn't care for order and just wants chaos and wants to kill you and eat your babies or whatever. So yeah, back then people were convinced that anarchists were just violent rioters who just wanted chaos and disorder, so the bombings didn't really help their case. Which brings us to today. Recently, propaganda of the deed has rarely exceeded broken bank windows, burning trash cans, or toppled police cars. The times of assassinations of monarchs and of industrialists, of bombings of factories or parliaments as anti-capitalist and anti-statist actions were believed to be behind us. We don't know why the assassin killed the CEO. Some will claim it's Luigi Mangione, but it can't be him because we had breakfast on the morning of December 4th, so it's obviously not him. In any case, unlike the propaganda of the deed of the late 19th and early 20th century, there's almost a consensus about the death of the CEO. Despite the attempts to make it sound like the assassin is a deranged radical, people support the killer. And that's where the art comes in. I think the fact that memes were so heavily used shows the support for the action. You could argue that people online meme about everything, but I would disagree. There isn't that many memes going around about the genocide of Palestinian people, for example. By looking up Luigi Mangione art, I find memes left and right about him being the Luigi, to him being photoshopped as a saint or photoshopped to give him a fake alibi. By looking up deny, defend, depose art, you get to some less humorous art. And this one, by Spade, or Spade.Inc. on Instagram, is the one I saw circulate the most. For people who might be watching this video 10 years from now, in case you didn't know, the killing was filmed by a security camera, which made it even more impactful for the public. This image is taken directly from the footage that was played on loop to the world. To get more insights on this artwork, I contacted Brandon from Punk with a Camera, who coordinated and commissioned the artwork.
My name's Brandon, and for the better part of a decade, I've been running Punk with a Camera, which is part, film and media, and the other part is creating in-house merchandising and distribution. That's what we've been focusing on mainly these days, but soon enough, we'll finally swap back over to the more film side. We have a YouTube channel. We've mainly released like live session recordings that are very raw and intimate with bands, as well as a couple documentaries and shorts. And the long-term goal of what we're doing is to create a film house that can essentially be its own executive producer, and we can just focus on making really cool T-shirts that fund everything and pay everyone who works for me a really fair wage, and then just not have to deal with some corporate person saying they don't like our script.
Brandon commissions artists for Punk with a Camera, usually sending them a sketch or a synopsis or reference images for what he wants. Here's how he came up with the idea for Deny, Defend, Depose.
Yeah, basically I was studying the news articles and I was asking myself, of this specific world event, what image was seen the most? And I concluded that it was the CCTV image of him getting shot. If this is what you're trying to do, if you're trying to help spread a message, it has to be while it's culturally relevant, Because at the end of the day, we're not really in the business of making T-shirt sales. We're in the business of beginning communication on important topics. I think that my end goal with any art that I create, especially if I want it to be political, is to begin conversations with people who otherwise would be silent. You can look at this as a great example that a lot of people have been feeling that class consciousness has become, closer to midnight because of this event, and through the continual conversation of it, we can start to normalize that these conversations should not be taboo. And if I can accomplish that through political art and everything else, that is my end goal.
Ravachol was executed in 1892, and this artwork was made in 1893. The CEO was executed, and this artwork was made hours later, even before it was common knowledge that the bullet casings had Deny, Defend, Depose written on them. Spade's artwork is amazing. On the technical side, it used black and white, pointillist technique, and etching, which really conveys the classic mass-produced artworks of a time when anarchist and socialist fights had more traction, such as Morin's Ravachol portrait. At the risk of repeating myself, I want to give a candid review of the artwork, just because, I don't know, why not? I contacted the artist, by the way, and they answered me. She said, let me find it for you. The artwork took a touch over 9 hours. Really the only thing I added in terms of my own special touch was the noose, an exaggeration of the existing shadow, and the suggestion of the phrase because I had heard of the book Deny, Delay, Defend, why insurance companies don't pay out and what you can do about it. So the second that the casing information came out, I was like, my guy, this is the one. Not sure if it's really that important though. It is. It's not, I don't know. I think it is. And then she wrote, but yeah, it went viral, I guess. Kinda neat. So yeah, I love that it's a screen grab of the CCTV, that it really encapsulates why it was so popular. Not only the fact that, the killing itself, but also the angle and the means by which that image was spread throughout the world. So they reutilized that, which I really love. The noose, of course, in the shadow of the CEO is a great touch. The leading lines, going from bottom left to top right, the kind of implied hierarchy, right, of shooting towards the top. I probably not all thought of, but that's my job, I guess, finding things that that artists themselves don't even think about. But yeah, the hierarchy of shooting upwards, of the leading lines, the cars all going towards that one CEO in the corner. I feel like there isn't that much to say, but the power of the image in itself is there, and it just speaks for itself, I guess. But yeah, I really love it. However, what's fascinating about this artwork isn't how it was made, but how it determined the goals it was made to achieve. This is obviously political art, and as someone with clear political convictions, I'm often questioning the pertinence of political art, its effectiveness, and its goals. What Brandon from Punk with a Camera and Spade did was develop a workflow which, beyond the final product itself, works towards their political goals. What made this artwork so powerful and so widespread, beyond how cool it looks, is its expediency and its willingness to capitalize on an event as soon as possible, to establish a narrative and resonate with as many people as possible. I'm not going to pretend like this image established the narrative, that it changed the world and finally gave the people class consciousness. However, after seeing it online, being shared, being worn as t-shirts, and videos of it on TikTok, I do believe that artists can provide symbols when such events happen. We live in a world where class consciousness needs to be developed, where revolutionary spirit needs to be developed. We're in desperate need of revolutionary optimism. Symbols alone can't change systems. They won't abolish capitalism. We can't overestimate the power of assassinations and of artworks, but they are symbols. And these symbols, when shared and identified with, can become powerful means for unity and mobilization. All right, I hope you enjoyed the video. I have a lot of people to thank. So first I want to thank Punk with a Camera and Spade.Inc, or just Spade, for contributing and helping out with this video. I want to thank everyone in the last video. It was a pretty important video for me, and a lot of people gave a lot of very positive feedback, which was very heartwarming. I really appreciated all of your comments and your engagement on that last video. It was really it was really nice to hear, and a lot of people supporting and a lot of people connecting with what I was saying. So I really enjoyed people's reaction to that. Thank you so much. There's a lot of people who also signed up on Patreon, which was unexpected, considering I was saying I was going to be part-time, but very appreciated as always. I don't know. I just feel very appreciated. I hope you enjoyed this video. A bit more on the radical side that I'm used to do. So yeah, just let me know what you thought in the comments. I read them all. So yeah. And also I'd like to thank, as always, Roman Brandel, X-Towns, Jeff, and all my other patrons for supporting the channel. You can also support the channel on patreon.com/thecanvas. It's still /thecanvas. So yeah, check it out if you're interested. But thank you. Thank you all. And have a great holidays. A what? A great holiday season. I've been corrected. Thank you. Goodbye.